We'd either remove this and here, or we do this. There is no other option. Remember, your epoxy, if poured properly and thick enough, is 15,000 PSI. And I get it. So if you're with him, listen to whatever he says to do. Today, we took a $20,000 kitchen renovation and did it for about $1,400. We're gonna show you how to turn your sweat equity into a ton of money. If you're a contractor and you're wanting to actually learn how to start being very profitable, I think this is gonna blow you away. We wanna teach you how to make money on jobs, how to keep more of that money in your own pocket if you're a customer, and how to put some value on a home without spending 20 grand. So come along, check this out. This is really exciting. We're doing full height backsplashes, so we're going from the top of the finished countertops to the bottom of the upper cabinet. Well, you gotta be accurate with your cutouts. You might want to determine whether you want to make your cutouts before or after your pour. I prefer to do them before in most cases. So we're gonna set our backsplashes, pour some of our countertops, and you're gonna see the difference whether we pour right up to a finished countertop or we can come right in with our wall epoxy, which is amazing. Mix a very small amount up, use it as caulking, and then you never have to replace it. It's never gonna get mildew, and you truly have a perfectly seamless countertop to backsplash. It's permanent. We wouldn't want to ever disconnect a faucet until we knew our angle stops, meaning our valves were really, truly 100% shut off. So just, that'll end a company. Oh, wow. So they screwed that backsplash in there and then glued it in. That's nice to make. Just take your time coming out vertical like that. Make sure our gas is shut off properly. Whew. If I can reach in here properly. So right now we're doing something a bit controversial to at least certain people that don't understand what we're doing. I assure you I've done this a lot in my past, and they've all actually worked out very well. We're taking a current overmount sink and removing it out of 4 mica countertops, and we're gonna be doing an undermount sink. Now normally you'd have to replace all the countertops so that you could recut that smaller hole, but what we're doing is we're putting a thinner 1/2-inch plug so that we can have that undermount sink raised as forward to the surface as possible, so you have as shallow of a large deep undermount sink as possible. You have that nice thin clean looking undermount profile around the edge. You're gonna see me cut out a section of countertop and essentially re-template my sink as if I'd never had a sink in the countertop. And it seems complex if I tried to describe it to you now, but hang on and I promise you're gonna love how this turns out. An inch overhang now to my cabinet face. Then I know I have a maximum of like 3/4 across that face, or the side is probably a 5/8 or 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna give myself like a full 1 3/4 or more in here. Maybe even, I'll just even go out to 2. I know everybody's gonna be like, what the is he doing? At the end, it's gonna look good. There's our old piece. Trim this up, clean this, set it right on top, Bondo it in, epoxy over the top, and this, you will never know that this ever wasn't a single countertop. Your epoxy in here is gonna be stronger than any surface you want. You can cut a thinner. Everybody's worried about your depth on a thicker undermount and wanting thinner sink, so you can run your 1/2 inch if you want, because we'll run this right to the top of our countertop, if that makes sense. So this should be a pretty doable thing. And then once our Bondo and everything cures, we'll get this bondoed and maybe even a little bit of epoxy on it tonight, which will allow us to sand this all flush tomorrow and pour our main coat over the top. So very doable. And then we can set our template on here, cut exactly wherever we want this sink. So you could even move the sink if you needed.
The reasoning for doing that, just so you don't have to put blocks underneath?
Well, we wouldn't have been able to cut this out, because remember this, we would have never been able to go to an undermount from an overmount here. If we did that, we'd remove all the countertops. We'd either remove this and here, or we do this. There is no other option. You guys will never undermount a sink to anything here. Those are bigger, nasty cutouts. You're trying to shrink them. There's no way to.
This wide, and you put in a cut in this big.
None of these interiors. What blocking would have fixed that? Because we're doing undermount.
I know, but you're blocking, and then you're gonna put your 3/4 inch on top of your blocks.
He's saying just to hold that piece up, blocking.
Which holds it all, and you still have the 3/4 inch reveal. And you can do it in half the time that you did that.
Everybody, guys, I have worked with, I think we've trained about 7,000 people. If you think I haven't sat in the room with some geniuses that have given me all kinds of, but everybody has a different way. So this is the way I've done. Now, I've installed with just granite about 1,200 kitchen countertops. And I don't know, none of you have, I'm just guessing. And I've done over 1,000 epoxy countertops. I've probably done 1,000 wall pieces. I've about 2 million square feet of flooring. So I know that this is not the only way to do it. And I know it's not maybe the best, but it's like one really simple way to where now this will be super strong, super seamless. Any idiot could do it. You don't have to like pull a countertop off. I don't understand about the blocking stuff that you're talking about. I think, I mean, if we way overcut our hole back out.
This is way overcut from the sink that's going in.
Exactly, because we don't want to step from a 3/4 inch false edge up to a 1/2 inch false edge in the middle of an undermount sink cutout, if that makes sense. So we're cutting way bigger than we need to so that we can have one big flat area, because I want my faucet in this piece, I want the sink in this piece, I want it going out past the edge, I want my flange to have room up on that. Does that make sense? So that's why I overcut this, because my undermount is going to be like this and my faucet will be here. So I just gave myself my whole area is new. I don't want to try to shrink it down and worry about my undermount sinkhole. I'm going to get my biggest possible hole, and then this basically turns into a new countertop, and it shouldn't take me more than like 15 minutes to do this. And then you can come back in, you basically have a brand new countertop so that you can cut wherever you want your undermount sink. So,
I mean, this way is, you don't even have to you don't even really go out and take measure.
really, you should be able to just set this out here, make sure you're not cutting into your face frame, cut it out, drop that piece in, Bondo it, and you're done. That's my goal here, is just to do something easy that I try to do this a lot too, because not everybody is going to come out with like a tool setup that they could rebuild a kitchen. A lot of people are going to have that drill, maybe no impact, skill saw they borrowed from their brother, and I want to find a way that, okay, you could even take a little handsaw, cut your corners out with this. So a lot of times on my radiuses, I'll use like drill bits for them instead of a jigsaw, because if somebody only has a drill bit and no jigsaw.
You got your drill bits that works in your Dremels.
Yeah. Well, you can do a router, you could do a Dremel, you could do a drill bit, you could do a Fortuner bit, hole saws, you could do this, you can go to a scroll saw width. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do with this.
Over the sink, is it only going to be a 1/2 inch thick?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep our sink as high in that cabinet as possible. So do you remember how you were saying there's not a lot of room in that? We want as much room as possible so that countertop, the sink is going to be right up to the bottom. So we're saving ourselves at least a little bit. So.
But that's where I don't understand. If you would have used 3/4 inch MDF in that situation, you wouldn't even have to hold that up.
Probably 80% of cabinets, you would always be shimming your blocks under here like crazy, front to back. Usually you'd have a false edge. So, and look at this. Like right here, even there, even your glue thickness is gonna be off. So, I mean, you really do have to realize that. I mean, you have even, like, if you're gonna say like, oh, I'm just gonna throw blocks on top of my cabinets, then you have to make sure your blocks are the right height, and then they're gonna be different front to back. So you really will be getting into a lot of adjustments, where I'm just personally thinking that overall, generally this would probably be faster because of the issues you're still gonna run in with that. Just because I've never seen a set of cabinets that weren't either false edges or shimmed or dead space, or it's not even sitting on cabinets here. So just a thought. I mean, but a great,
Definitely, I mean, that's the truth.
definitely could make it work too, so.
In this situation, because of the cabinets and it's got a little bit of support there, I just think, you throw a heavy sink underneath there with the garbage disposal and everything on it and all the vibration. I just don't see it holding up.
I have never had a sink out of over 2,500 kitchens ever fail, so. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'd trust this over granite any day.
I just know that I go and fix them.
That's stronger than granite. Oh, have you ever fixed one of mine?
Sinks,
All the time.
sink is falling
And what did I
off
just
the
say?
granite,
This is way stronger than granite.
I fix it all.
Yeah, and I get it. So if you're with him, listen to whatever he says to do. So definitely, I would definitely do what my boss said. All right, let's Bondo this one. Remember, your epoxy, if poured properly and thick enough, is 15,000 PSI. Concrete's about, 3 to 5 if it's poured perfectly, but it's not shock resistant and it's not flexible. So And we're pouring this pretty heavy, so you should have a very thick, very solid. I mean, something structural would have had to happen major for this to fall or fail after it's done. Even that sink, if it's sealed, adds crazy rigidity. Like a granite sink cut out, you break them all the time if you're trying to transport them without the sinks in. We started actually mounting a lot of our sinks in our shop and carrying some whenever we could with our sinks in. I've never busted even a granite countertop once the sink's installed properly.
It's like a year later, you know, they vibrate and they fall off.
And how were yours all bracket mounted with like augered in with the little diamond augers? Yeah, I've siliconed all mine and I never have any failures, but I'm always gonna alcohol my rim and then silicone that. I mean, I don't know. Now, instead of trying to mix a bunch of gold in there, that could be very risky. Right. We can spray this right on top and kind of adjust our tops out. You know what I mean?
I'm not putting any color in this. You guys have another spray? No,
I think it's going to be really pretty. I've loved the few things we've played with on it. So
that's pretty cool. Ni chingon, Levi.
Chingon? Chingon?
Yeah, chingon. Ni chingon.
Am I a chingon?
Yeah, you're chingon.
What's that mean? I'm a effing.
Badass.
Oh, you're very sweet. You're a very good person. Thank you.
No. So why didn't you put the tape on this one here in the front?
Just a little. I don't need to do it here. I'm more worried about this upper bar.
Oh.
going to just dig into it a little. I know it looks kind of goofy. I'm not trying to be all sexual with this or whatever, but it really will turn up that white and turn up the colors if you push your fingers down to the bottom. If you use just a foam roller, it's fine for spreading, but it really won't like delineate lines. So, you know what I mean? And it'll do it very uniformly.
Other than the drama we have not been showing you, we have been able to do full height backsplashes, undermount a sink where there used to be an overmount sink, which is kind of unique. So comment and let us know what you'd rather do differently. And let us know what you think of our new spray paints that we're going to be carrying. It's not a spray paint, it's a accelerated metallic pigment. So it's amazing. And we'll be getting you more information on that. But let us know and check out what's coming up next because it's even cooler.